Why is this not focusing on me? Oh, my bad, guys. I had my like auto focus off and it chose to focus on the chair. I put makeup on for this. Hi book babes, my name is Ainsley Marie and welcome to my library. For today, I am going to be telling you guys my top 26 reads of 2026. I love these videos. I think they are so much fun. However, this year I'm putting a twist on it because I do a lot of book tracking, and what I've picked up is that I literally only read about 10 to 12 books that I put on these lists every single year. And granted, the list is growing. I add a book every single year based on the number of the year that we're in. But regardless, I don't end up reading the books on my list. So this year, I'm adding in a twist. At the end of 2026, you guys will come back here. We will review this footage and we will see if I have read every single book that I said today. And if I don't, the book is getting sent away. Because of that challenge, I have compiled 13 books that have been on my backlog, aka books on my TBR for like over 2 years. Then I have another 13 that these are the books that I've either recently bought or my excitement for them has been refreshed and I am just ready and excited to dive into them. But without further ado, let's jump into all the books that I am really excited to read. But these are the ones that have been on my TBR for like over 2 years. First up, we have A Crown of Chains by Erin Phillips. Guys, this was literally on my list to read in 2024. It has actually been 2 years of me wanting to read this book and I just haven't done so yet. What is so cool about this book is that it is a fantasy retelling of the book of Esther. And Esther is one of my favorite books in the Bible. I just feel like Esther is such a godly character that women should look up to. Men should also look up to her just in her determination and her selflessness and her standing firm for God regardless of what circumstance she might step into for that. And this book is really, really cool. So we're following Roxana, who is in a similar situation to Esther, and she's a fairy, and her husband, very cruel man, is going to try to kill all the fairies. So I'm just excited to see how this happens. I've never read a Christian fantasy book before, but so this will be like a new genre for me, Christian fantasy, and I can't wait for it. Next up, guys, if I have to give this book away, put me in a psych ward while you're at it, because this is my mother's copy of her favorite book of all time, A Discovery of Witches. So if you think, like, guys, I've never read the book, but there's apparently a dragon in here named Cora. My mom had that tattooed on her body. So if you think I'm gonna mess this up by not reading this book this year, you're a buffoon. In this book, we're following Diana, and she's a witch and she works at a library, and she does something that just like kind of shifts the magic realm a little bit. And so from that, we meet vampires and dragons, and we're just thrown into this magical realm that Diana had literally no idea about. But there is history in this book, there's magic in this book, there is a fast-paced plot in this book, and we're just constantly being introduced to new things. I'm so excited. This book is actually a trilogy, so hopefully I will read the entire trilogy this year. If not, that's completely okay. Next up is A Quiet Kind of Thunder. I have heard legitimately nobody talk about this book, but I found this one day in the bookstore, read the synopsis, and I fell in love with it because I feel like this talks about two communities that don't ever get attention, specifically in literature. We are following Steffi and Reese. Steffi is mute. She's been mute her entire life, and Reese is deaf. So Reese moves to the school and Steffi is assigned to be his tour guide, his built-in friend, because she's the only one that can communicate through sign language with him because that's how she chooses to communicate. So we have them. Steffi has felt silenced and isolated her whole entire life until Reese appears into her world and she finally has somebody that she can just communicate with. And they find a beautiful friendship. I think they might fall in love, but I just think it's beautiful. Next is Babel. I think I got this book in 2022. or 2023. This is a historical fantasy that we are following a main character who goes to Oxford, and he is in their language, the Babel program. I don't know I don't really understand the synopsis at all. I also try not to understand synopsises of fantasy books because I feel like it gives away a little bit too much. Like, I like to go in completely not knowing what to expect. And so I definitely want to kind of be in the dark of this, but I've heard that it is a historic fantasy. It has dark academia to the max, and it is a lot of betrayals, a lot of turns, and it does read more like a textbook, which I think is kind of interesting because I'm probably in the very limited group that loved getting textbook reading assignments in school. Nerd. Defy the Night by Bridget Kimmerer. Y'all, hello. I want to read this book so bad, and I feel like I've been saying that for 3 years. So in this book, we are following Tessa, Tessa and her best friend Wes, and they live in a kingdom that is very sick. It's going downhill. People are literally dying. And the only way to save them is the moonflower petals. So Tessa and Wes have been sneaking into the castle and stealing moonflower petals for years to make the healing elixirs to save more and more people. However, there's some stuff going on and it's like harder for them to get it. One time they go into the castle and they realize that there's really no way for them to save the kingdom without destroying the kingdom. Next is Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. I know nothing about this book series, and also, dare I say, I've only ever read Red Queen, so I have not really read a series by Victoria before. This book is like your typical young adult fantasy. She's a young girl just minding her own business. An assassin knocks on her doorstep and says, hey, you're kind of our last chance to destroy the kingdom and bring back magic and just get rid of the darkness of the land. So very typical. I almost have an expectation for what this book is going to look like. The only thing that gets me is this is a trilogy and each book is like over 500 pages. Yeah, this one's almost 600 and the books only get bigger. I don't know, guys. This one I might take a loss on this one. I don't know. Next we have The Darkening, which is a book that I impulsively bought. So I don't really remember much of what this book is about, and I kind of feel bad for that fact. But I will say that I read the synopsis and I loved it so much, I bought myself and my best friend Romy a copy. So we're following a character and her mom is the leader of a revolution, and her mom gets the choice of you can either die via storm or via hangman with an axe. Disgusting. Her mom chooses the storm, so she's gone. Her dad has been on the run for years, and our main character is about to come to the same fate as her mom, but the prince of the kingdom finds her and is like, hey, I know secrets that you need to know. And she's like, well, I gotta find out these secrets. So now she has to decide if she's going to stay on the run like her father and potentially never be caught, or choose to go unfold and find answers to key parts of her life story that she has no idea about and potentially risk death by storm, just like her mom. Next up is The Last by Hannah Jameson. So the tagline for this is 1 hotel, 20 survivors, and that's essentially that. 20 people enter into a hotel and various things go wrong. They also find a little girl's body in the water tank. Yes. And so our main character takes it upon himself to investigate and find out why. Through his investigation, a bunch of things just pop up and he is finding more and more things out that he probably wishes he never knew. But I'm excited for this. It's obviously going to be a mystery, and I think whenever you tie in like vacation mysteries, that's always just like super suspenseful. I feel like that's like an added suspense of like, oh, you're like going on vacation expecting a relaxation, a refreshment, and instead you get a murder. Next is The Leaving by Tara Outbrando. I remember watching somebody talk about this book on TikTok, and I bought it within 20 minutes because the way that they spoke about this mystery, I knew that it was something that I wanted to pick up so badly, and unfortunately it's been years since I picked this book up, so my spark has kind of died out. But my friend and I were watching a movie trailer together and it seemed to be the exact premise of this book, so my spark was kind of like inflamed again. So this is 11 years ago, 6 kindergartners went missing without a trace. And after all that time, people have moved on until today. 5 of those kids return. They're 16 and they are fine. Can you imagine? You're sending a little kindergartner off to school, goes missing, and then 11 years later she comes back and acts like nothing happened. Please. In this book, we're following multiple point of views. We're following 3. We're following Lucas and Scarlett, 2 of the survivors from this. And then we were also following Avery, who is the big sister of the little boy, the one that never came back, because 6 went missing, 5 came back. So we're following the big sister of the one that is still missing. So I'm excited. It's going to be twisty. It's probably going to freak me out a little bit, and I'm excited. Next is The Raven Boys. I know nothing of this other than when I bought it back in like 2018. I was really excited to read it, and I remember I started BookTube and I started my Bookstagram, and this book series seemed to be like one of the most talked about books. So I vividly remember going to a bookstore and buying this book only so I could post a picture of it so I could seem like I was on the in crowd. So I actually don't really know what this book is about, but I do know it takes place at a boarding school. And I don't know if you guys ever watched Greenhouse Academy, but it's kind of giving that vibe to me, and I was obsessed with that TV show back at COVID. Things We Got Over by Lucy Score. This is a book series that I have slowly been getting over the years. I wanted to read this book so bad whenever I first got it, but I guess again my flame kind of just died out. But my coworker recently read this book and she was speaking so highly about it, how she just completely got sucked into it. She read all 3 books on audiobook within a week. So in this one, we're following Naomi, and she's on the run from her ex-boyfriend, and I believe she has a son. So basically she leaves, and then her evil twin comes back or something, and then she meets this guy and he's trying to help her out. I don't really know. Next is Truly Devious, another book. I literally bought this back in 2021 whenever I had COVID, okay? And I expected to read it that week that I had COVID, but I just didn't. I didn't feel good. Also, by the way, I placed an online order for this book. I did not go to a bookstore with COVID. Thank you for thinking that of me. But this literally just a boarding school mystery, murder mystery type thing. I've heard such good things about this book, and it is a book series. And last up on the books that have been on my TBR for over 2+ years, we have Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. And I'm so excited because I love the Caraval series, and I want to read these books. When I go on Pinterest and I look up the aesthetic for this book, I fall in love. It's what I want to read. The whimsical, magical, just utter, I feel like just looking at fan art of this book, I fall into the world so easily. So I can't imagine what this book and this book series is going to feel like for me. But in this book, we follow Evangeline, who is a character in Caraval, and we also follow Jax, who is the King of Hearts. Now we are moving on into the books that I am like the most excited for. I'm excited for all the ones that I've just previously mentioned, but these are the books that I've recently picked up, so my excitement for them is a little more fresh. First up is A Study in Drowning. This book is literally exquisite. Hello. Are you kidding me? This book is so pretty. In this book, we were following a girl named Effie. She believes in fairy tales. She believes that everything that happens in these books is real, and she just doesn't live in the dimension or the area that it all takes place in. That's why most people don't agree or believe with her. Then there's this guy at school who he does not believe. He's like, you are full of it. He thinks that her favorite author is a fraud, and she knows that he's not a fraud, so they conspire together to prove one of them right or wrong. And through that, there's dark secrets that are just about to explode and ruin both of them. How exciting. But this book is part historical fantasy, part rivals to lovers, and part gothic mystery. This fairy tale has captivated readers with its haunting, dreamlike atmosphere. Next up is Battle of the Bookstores by Allie Brady. This is very close to You've Got Mail. It's like a modern twist of that. They still have the pen pal portion of You've Got Mail, but essentially the twist in this one is instead of being competing bookstores. They are bookstores that have merged together and they are now competing for a managerial position. So a little bit different from You've Got Mail, but the foundation and what we love so much about that movie is still in this book. It's rivalry, it's romance, it's people who love books. Next is Beartown. I got Beartown for Christmas, but I actually haven't gotten it yet because the package was delayed. So it's at my dad's house right now. I'm going to get it later today. I will insert a clip of me opening it right now. Are you gonna come watch? Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. It's so pretty. Oh my gosh. Beartown is a literary fiction, and Frederick Bachman was not on my list of potential authors at all. I don't know why, but I felt like I wouldn't like any of his books. But then one of my friends who is not a reader read Beartown, and she has since read, I think, all of his books and now considers herself a reader. Basically, she only sticks to literary fiction, but hey, Beartown got my friend into reading, so I am not going to sit here and complain about it. But because of that, I felt like I really wanted to pick it up and just get a better understanding of how this book meant so much to her, because I really do feel like the books that people like, it's almost like a little like look into who they are. Next is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. This book seems so very cozy winter-esque to me, and I love it. I also think it's kind of giving spring a little bit. So we are following a Cambridge professor named Emily Wilde, and she is really good about everything, but her main focus is her expert on fairies, like how much she knows about fairies. She's not good with people. She hates people. She would rather be left alone to her research, and that's essentially what happens. She goes to this new town and she's trying to stay away from all these people while also trying to uncover hidden truths about this last fairy population that she's yet to become an expert on. But she finds herself continually thinking about this other guy, and he's like low-key standing in her way. Then we have Magnolia Parks. I know nothing really about this book other than we are following a British socialite and a kind of toxic relationship. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I don't understand this book at all. It seems to me like it's going to be super like gloomy and dark and goth. My friend came down for like a weekend and she read this copy, and then she read the sequel in that weekend. And she loved it. The only thing she said to me was like, don't read it when you're alone and don't read it at night, because I get scared so easily. I get scared relatively easily. I had to go to therapy because of Bloody Mary. As somebody who reads by herself, I rarely read with other people. I don't know when I'm going to be able to read this book when I'm not by myself. And I also primarily read at night. So I don't know when I'm going to be able to like read this book and feel safe. The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. I feel like everybody has heard of this book. I don't know why. This book has been coming out, like the book series has been coming out literally for over the past like 6 years, and they just got new covers as of, I think within the past 2 years they've all gotten a cover update, and I feel like the cover update revamped and re-sparked, or maybe it wasn't even a anything, just the cover change was what was needed to ignite love and popularity for this book. We are following Laura, who is a warrior princess, and she has been trained up in isolation as an assassin, basically. And so there's some things going on with the Bridge Kingdom. Now now it's her enemy. And so she is going as a bride for the king of the Bridge Kingdom under a false peace veil of, hey, I'm your bride. Let's have a truce. However, she's prepared to do whatever it takes to destroy the kingdom. The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy by Bridget Knightley. I love the name Bridget, by the way. I think it's so cute. But I bought this book because of the cover. I'm gonna be so honest and for real and transparent. Because of the cover. I have no clue what this book is about. Genuinely, not a clue. The cover's pink and it's cute. I bought it. I'm just gonna read what the little like blurb says Loyalties are tested in the slow burn, enemies to lovers romantasy, following an assassin and a healer, forced to work together to cure a fatal disease while resisting the urge to kill each other, or worse, fall in love. Night Ends with Fire by KX Song. I am so excited for this book. I think I have a beautiful copy. I'm gonna be so honest. And I actually have the second book as well in this edition. So these genuinely beautiful books. I will say that this is a Mulan retelling. Mulan is one of my favorite childhood animated films. I think my biggest challenge in reading this book is going to be that I need to forget the animated version because the plot and characters in this book are a inspiration from that movie and not a direct replication. Next is The Prison Healer. If you have been subscribed to me for a while, then you have heard me say that this book has been on my TBR every single season for the past year. And I'm sorry. I really am sorry. It's pathetic that I haven't read this book or this trilogy yet. I'm sorry. But in this book, we are following Kiva, and she's the prison healer. In this world, when you are sent to prison, you are sent to go through trials that will kill you. Nobody has ever survived the trials. And so Kiva is the prison's healer until her parents send her a letter saying, hey, keep this evil queen alive, please. And the only way for her to keep the evil queen alive is to go and do the trials for the evil queen. So Kiva ends up being thrown into a punishment that was never meant to be hers. And keep in mind, nobody has ever won the games before. It's literally designed to kill them. So I'm excited for this book. People say that it's fast-paced, that there is a betrayal at the end. The Weaver Bride by Lydia Gregovic. I bought this book yesterday, but I've had my sights on this book for months now. I think this book is so pretty. We are following Lovett, which I think Lovett is such a cute little name. So we're following Lovett, and she's a silk witch, and that's a rare magic. However, in order for her magic to be ignited or of use, she has to marry a weaver. But she has this one ability, and that's the ability to open any door. And this is extremely dangerous. However, one time she does her open the door magic trick, and on the other side is this guy named Elliot. And he offers her this life-changing opportunity, which is to enter into this competition, which the winner will receive marriage to this guy named Noah Lair, and he is the heir to the Weaver wealth. So basically, the one thing she needs is one competition away. We don't know what the competition looks like. Thorn Season by Kiara Azar. I am addicted to this book already. Literally just the pictures of it. I'm addicted. It's so pretty. So we are following an heiress, or a princess, dare I say, who has illegal magic, but it is rose season. So kind of think of Bridgerton, where you're trying to get courted. This is the royal courtship, where because she's doing this, the threat of her being discovered of having this illegal magic could possibly come to light every single chance that it gets. And so she is meeting these two men who could either save her or could be the reason why her magic is exposed. So we have to be reading this book, ready to be betrayed, ready for the guy that we prefer to not be the one and to suck. The last book on my top 26 of 2026 reading vlog, and that is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. I am so excited. This book seems so interesting. It was on a table at Barnes & Noble, and I just felt really drawn to come and read the back. And in reading the back, I realized this book sounds like it's going to be fantastic. So we're following a main character who I cannot pronounce her name at all. I'm just going to call her Agnes because I genuinely can't pronounce her name. But so she lives in this quiet village, but there are woods surrounding all around her, and that it's full of malicious, dark power. And so her town relies on this cold-driven wizard who keeps the wood's dark forces at bay. He is literally their only protection. He's their army, their military, whatever you want to call him. He is the sole reason why this town stays safe. However, the only reason that they're able to keep him on their side and protecting them is that they have to send somebody over every 10 years to serve him without question. That is what he demands, is a servant. And the next choosing ceremony is fast approaching, and Agnes and the whole town believes it's going to be this girl Kezia, and Kezia is actually Agnes's best friend. So Agnes is trying to do anything she can to save Kezia because that's her best friend. She doesn't want her to go, clearly. However, when the wizard comes, it is not Kezia that gets picked. Obviously, we can infer that it's Agnes who he chose. Actually, let me try to read her name. Agnieszka. I'm excited to read this book. Again, I feel like nobody really talks about it. And honestly, some of the books that I end up loving the most are the books that I find on my own accord at a bookstore that don't have any reviews. I can go into reading a book just with my own opinion on it. I think once I hear everybody else's opinions and their ratings and their reviews, my judgment gets clouded and I place expectations upon books that I was never meant to set. So I think there is something beautiful about going into a book almost blind. Well, guys, that's the 26 books I need to read in 2026, or else I'm literally giving them away. Why did I do this? If you want to stick around and watch me vlog, watch me read these books in different challenges, please let me know because I am so thrilled and excited to get to every single one of these books. That is it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what are some of the books that you are dying to get to this year. What is getting you excited to read in 2026? Please let me know. I love you guys and I'll see you next Monday. Bye!